Chelsea Football Club. That's it. That's the joke for this week. Hope you enjoyed. Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly. Welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. Hope you guys are keeping well. Hope you guys enjoyed the most recent episode of the Goal Recreation series that went out on Sunday there. A lot of work went into it, and a lot of work, as always, goes into all the videos here on the channel. So your support on all the videos is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support this one, slap a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already. With all that said and done, welcome back to the penultimate episode, probably, of the Premier League Verdict for Season 6. And a lot was decided this weekend, and we're kind of going into the final weekend with not an awful lot to look forward to. I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I haven't had an awful lot of anything to look forward to all season, to be fair. But we're going to start off with the yellow box this week, because the key talking points are, of course, going to be in the green and red box, and they both kind of cover the same subject matter. The relegation battle. That is the one thing that is going to have to be decided on the final day, and it's something that's going down right to the wire, thankfully. And it looks like it's going to be a thrilling end to the season in that respect. We'll bring up our little Premier League table that we have here. As the reason I've waited until Tuesday evening to put out the verdict this week, because there was a fairly important game happening tonight, Monday evening, and that was Newcastle drawing 0-0 with Leicester City. Newcastle, in the process, securing Champions League football, so congratulations to them for the first time in a long time. The 90s, I believe, was the last time that St James's Park seen Champions League football. So a wonderful night for Newcastle, and the first of many, I'm sure, over the next couple of years for them. But as we look at it here, Leeds, Leicester, Everton, three teams that are going to be fighting out in the final day to try and stay in the Premier League. Leicester could have easily done with all 3 points tonight, to be fair, to really give themselves the best chance. But a point at St James's Park certainly isn't bad, and certainly when you look at the balance of the game, the way the game went for Leicester, could have easily lost it on a number of occasions. And to be fair, right at the end, Timothy Castagne could have easily won it for them. But they stay in 18th. It looked like it was going to be a promising weekend for Leeds as well. They took the lead against West Ham thanks to a brilliant goal by Rodrigo, to be fair, but they ended up losing that game at the London Stadium to West Ham, who, to be fair, I think they face Leicester on the final day, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be an interesting kind of dynamic, because West Ham are on the beach, have been for a couple of weeks now, and are now concentrating on a massive Europa Conference League final coming up in a couple of weeks' time. A huge night that'll be for them. So they'll be on the beach on the final day. Leicester and Everton. Everton, I think, faced Bournemouth. Everton got what ended up being a huge point. I think a 99th minute equaliser from Yerry Mina in that game. A huge point for them. Leicester and Leeds definitely in the worst position possible here. But if we look at it, I mean, let's be honest, the final day can easily throw up some fucking mental kind of scenarios. So when you look at their goal difference, I mean, Leicester have a superior goal difference to Everton as well. So the fact that they have that 2 points advantage, Leicester really could have done with all 3 points tonight, lads. But a big point away at St James's Park for them. But if I was to put my money on it, and I'm not a betting man, and I don't condone betting, but if you are a betting man, I would say Everton probably favourites to stay up at the minute, just by the skin of their teeth. Obviously, Nottingham Forest secured their survival, and we will talk about that in our next box. But with it being kind of the only thing that has to be decided on the final day, it looks like it's going to be a mental final day for these three clubs. Everton, Leicester, Leeds. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on who you believe will get relegated. Obviously, Southampton are already gone. I don't think I've mentioned that yet, but I mean, fuck me, they've been bad this season. Right, green and red box. We're going to do them both in the one here, right? Green, Manchester City, champions. Once again, 3 consecutive titles for them. And all they needed going into this weekend was 3 points. And let's be honest, they were facing Chelsea, so chances are they were going to get it. But Arsenal helped them along the way. They lost on Saturday evening to Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, and that meant that Manchester City were champions before even having to kick off against Chelsea on Sunday. Taiwo Awoniyi with the goal, and it has been a capitulation from Arsenal. I mentioned last week about how I think calling Arsenal's kind of the way the season has gone for them a bottle job is a little bit far, because you have to be near perfection to beat this Manchester City team. But let's look at the facts here. Arsenal have won 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 rather, of their last 8 or 9 games in the season, in the title run-in. And we talked about how flawless Arsenal have been pretty much all season, and that remains a fact. But when the going got tough, and this was always going to be the issue, okay, we were always saying to ourselves, Arsenal, they haven't had a bad spell yet, and they're due one, because no team can really, very few teams can go through a season and be as flawless as you have to be to win the title against this Manchester City team. But Arsenal, we were kind of waiting for their downfall. We were waiting for the moment where it was going to happen. And unfortunately for them, it's happened at the tail end of the season. And they've been pretty poor over the last couple of weeks, I think it's fair to say, and definitely summarised by this defeat against Nottingham Forest, who, like I say, secured their survival in the Premier League for another season. And I am happy for Nottingham Forest. I think they're a really good club. I actually have relations over in Nottingham. But I think what it is fair to say is, you throw as much money into the problem as Nottingham Forest have. You get the players that they've brought in, Champions League quality players. I mean, Keylor Navas is a Nottingham Forest player, lads. What the fuck is happening? You're going to get some semblance of a result out of that. But let's look at Arsenal's results here, shall we, over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, that defeat here to Nottingham Forest, Brighton 3-0. I mean, at that point, the title was kind of done. Big win there against Newcastle. Beat Chelsea because everyone beats Chelsea. 4-1 defeat to Manchester City. And that was always going to be the thing. Could they do it against Manchester City in their backyard? Turns out no. But these were the problem. 3-3 draw with Southampton. Obviously clawed back to get a point out of that game, but should never have been in this position against a really poor Southampton side. Drawn 2-2 at West Ham. Again, shouldn't have happened. And bottled a 2-0 lead at Liverpool as well. That Roberto Firmino goal, the equaliser for Liverpool. But my God, whatever way you look at it, I know Arsenal would not have been favourites, and you look at Arsenal at the start of the season and say top 4 would always have been the goal, and I know that's what people are saying online, but it's hard to look at this and say it's not a bottle job. Arsenal have kind of bottled the league, and it sounds harsh, and it is harsh, but like I say, you look at those results, and it's those 3, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton. I remember thinking at the time, those could be the real downfall of Arsenal. And we always said, look, if they can get anything out of the City games, that would be an absolutely Brucey bonus. But they had to keep winning the games that they should have been winning, and they didn't. And I think even by the time you get to the Brighton game here, and obviously Forest, it's pretty much done. City only needed to beat Chelsea, which they did, because everybody beats Chelsea this season. And it was a goal from Julian Alvarez with the goal. And City were so on the beach that they're obviously resting players for a Champions League final against Inter Milan coming up. And they could afford to play their B team, essentially. Let's have a look at the team that City put out. I mean, Chelsea putting out a pretty experimental young team for the most part as well. But there was a lot of old heads in there as well. But let's have a look at this City team. Stefan Ortega. Okay, Kyle Walker, Laporte, Akanji, Calvin Phillips and Rico Lewis were kind of in the pivot. You had Sergio Gomez was playing left wing back, Foden along there with Mahrez, Cole Palmer, and the goal scorer, of course, Julian Alvarez. Look at this bench. Look at this bench. I mean, City's bench most weeks, but fuck me. Ederson, Diaz, Stones, Gundogan, Grealish, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo, and Erling Haaland. I mean, how much does that bench kind of equate to, I wonder, in kind of transfer value? Because that is absolutely insane. And obviously we have our Chelsea team here, Kepa Arrizabalaga. I mean, you look around this Chelsea team and you think to yourself, how many of these would I like to see gone in the summer? Kepa, Chalobah, Silva, Fofana. I thought Fofana was poor, particularly for the goal. Enzo I thought was poor again. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, one of those that's leaving in the summer more than likely, actually didn't do too bad in this game, funnily enough. Azpilicueta, I love the man, and it pains me to say it. He's been done out here for a long time, unfortunately, Azpilicueta, hasn't he? Lewis Hall was impressive, have to say, did well. Sterling, non-existent. Conor Gallagher's poor. Kai Havertz isn't a striker, and he's poor in that position as well, let's be honest. But look, it was all about City. City were in party mode. They put out their B team and still absolutely smacked us round. There wasn't an awful lot in this game because there wasn't an awful lot to play for. Chelsea's season has been done for a couple of weeks now, and City are, in league terms at least, on the beach. They still have got 2 games left to play, City, incredibly as well, so they could win this title by even more. They've got Brighton to play this coming Wednesday. But that is it, officially done. Manchester City, 3 consecutive titles. What was it, 4 out of the last 5 now or something along those lines? Fucking incredible, man. I mean, look, they're making the Premier League a farmers' league. Let's be honest. No one can compete with them at the minute. And Arsenal made a good hash of it this season, but ultimately Arsenal weren't good enough. And I know a lot of us, including me, kind of said, you know, Arsenal have it in the bag here. They really do. But there was always going to be that kind of bump along the road that Arsenal hadn't had yet, and it's really come at the wrong time of the season. And City are good enough to be able to capitalise upon it. Their squad is just incredible. Pep Guardiola is unbelievable. And I do truly believe the treble is on for Manchester City now. I think that they'll beat United in the cup final, and they should, unless an absolute stinker comes from Pep and he does something incredible, like overthinks it like he did in the Champions League final against Chelsea. Fun fact, by the way, the last time Chelsea scored against Man City was that Kai Havertz goal in Porto 2 years ago. Fuck me, that's incredible. But I do think the treble is on for Manchester City, and they will go down, and Pep will go down as one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time. He's got to be challenging the greats now at this point, hasn't he? But that is it. Title race is officially confirmed. It's done. It's over. I think Champions League is basically done as well after United won the weekend. I don't think there's any chance now for Liverpool to claw it back. It's really just that relegation battle that we'll all be watching the final day for. I may make a verdict after this game on Thursday, Manchester United versus Chelsea, but for some reason I just feel like there's going to be so little in it, so little riding on it, that it could be a fucking dribbler of a 0-0, or United could smack us around, who knows. But there's nothing really in that. There may be a video after that, but after that there will be the final kind of wrap-up verdict to end off the season. But lads, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed in this video in the comment section down below. Slap a like on the video also, like I said, if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you next time. Take care and peace.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding a road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now.